then you feel it is a big responsibility.
Do you feel like most of the teachers lack in it?
It's the fault of our community as well.
You are the one who can answer it in the best way.
Definitely, the faculty members being less paid.
Do you feel like our school system is just spoiling up a big time?
We do not invest on education.
I read it. कि इल्म मोमिन की मिरास है.
और ये वो विरासत है जो चोरी भी नहीं हो सकती.
Being sitting at the fancy designation, but you know how hard it had been.
It's quite hard. It's very difficult to tackle this youth.
Have you come across with any sort of very strict directions, कोई धमकी type भी कोई चीज़?
Regarding तो नहीं हो रही. Even I received the life threatening just because of we expelled one student.
What students are lacking?
Even minor efforts matters a lot. We are failing a student because of 0.45, a very minor difference. Very tough question to answer.
So sir, the first thing that we actually start a talk that matters, it's actually a simple yet a bit of a tricky question to answer. So who is Mr. Shahzad Sarfraz in person? Like apart from the designation, we all know that you are the director of the Faisalabad campus. But in person, we all want to know like what do you want to do in your life, what have you achieved so far, what you are actually looking for. So these are the things that I think we would love to know about.
So thank you very much, Ubaid. And first of all, if I see I am a teacher who joined my profession around 15 years ago as a teacher, and even joining any university, I was teaching at college level and school level, and even I did home tuitions. So from the early age, I started teaching, and then laterly as a professionally, I joined the university, and since then I am working as a teacher. So later on, definitely I was given some opportunities to lead the educational institutes, firstly as a head of department and later on director campus, and of course I have also served in managerial post in different other institutions. And I also feel lucky enough to work in government sector institute and semi-government institute, and as well as currently I am working in a private sector institute. So I have a blend of experience of working with 3 different type of higher education institutions. So this is all about, and basically if I say I am a teacher, and in FAST it's a beauty, like they offer a higher level managerial post to a teacher. In normally institute you see the director do not have any other things like teaching and research, but in FAST, if you are a teacher, then you are having a higher level position. So all the administration are basically they are the teachers. So I am quite happy, and even like after completing my these administrative role, I would love to be again teacher and researcher, and at the moment I am also teaching a few courses and also conducting research.
Yeah, so it seems like you have seen the different stages of being the teacher, I mean, like in your whole career, like starting from the very root basis and then, going into a leadership level, right? How does it feel like to be as a journey, a journey of a teacher, like starting from the tuition and becoming, the leading towards one of the top universities in Pakistan. So how does it feel like to be there?
So, Ubaid, when you are sitting on the other side, it looks like a very easy thing.
Yeah.
Like when we were students, we thought the teacher are like enjoying the real things, and they are the real having fruits of life. Like they don't need to do anything. They just come into the class and give some assignments and teach the topics, and sometimes they also tell us to explore the things, and it's quite easy to just read the slides and give the something or just deliver the content. But when professionally you have the responsibility, you see a different window. It's a totally different thing. So this was the major difference which I felt after taking the role as a teacher. And then similarly, when you are a teacher, you see your head of department, you see, okay, this person is enjoying a lot of things and having full liberty, just signing the document and giving the orders and passing the things, and he do not have any type of responsibility. Rather, he shifts responsibilities to the faculty members. But when you become the head of department, then you see you have a lot of burden which is placed on your shoulders, and you have to manage different type of stakeholders. For example, you have to manage the students' parents, you have to answer students' queries, and sometimes you have to take the external pressure of administration, and beside that you have to take the higher management pressure. So it looks like when I became the head of department, I felt, no, I think director is a more easy job. Actually, the main leaders and main players are the head of departments. The director just pass all the direction and instruction to head of departments. But when you have the responsibilities of director campus, you see it's a more pressure. So similarly, I feel the rector of the university who is managing all the campuses has more and big responsibility on his shoulder. And I think I really appreciate all the big leaders of institutions of any university. Those are managing the things, those are handling the things. It's just like a family head, like who is totally responsible to feed their children, to educate their children, to grow their children, and to save them from the external pressure.
Yeah,
So
I think whatever you're saying is a complete representation of, like, we always come across with the one solid statements like uneasy feels the head that wears the crown, right?
yes,
So I think that was a complete representation of it. We think like, I think myself, being a part of the student, I always felt like the same way. Like I felt like the teacher is, a lot easier. He comes in and goes, and he says like, do this assignment, do this task, and all that stuff. But we sometimes foresee that fact that everybody is going through within his own role, and everybody has its own specific things to do. So, and when we get into those things, then we realize it out. Yeah, how hard it has been. So I think
so the example I give, just like a family head. So he take the all pressure, and at that time, the children,
they are
the
safe under
generations,
that.
they do not know what type of hurdles our father is having. But when you become the father,
You realize it.
you realize it. So it's a simple, then you feel it is a big responsibility. And if you try to manage and handle it. So similarly, sometimes it looks like my father is very harsh and very hard, and he do not take care of us. And sometimes we feel like he give extra favor to our other brother or sister. But in reality, uh, he is having all type of scenarios with him, so he is the better judge. So sometimes he know he need push up to grow better, and sometimes he feel I need to be harsh
Yeah.
so that he should be in the line of his future. So similarly, being a head of institute, I think we do not have any, I or any other institute head do not have any personal things with their students, with faculty, or with their peers. But the only thing
It is a need of that moment.
he has a lot of things on his shoulder, and he has to manage, and so that's why he look like a different thing. And similarly, the teaching profession is totally different as compared to the normal business profession. So you have to be in respect, you need to maintain the respect, you need to adopt good norms, because your students, your community is following you.
Exactly.
So you are the role model for your society. So if you are not adopting, you are not behaving in a good way, of course your students, you cannot expect like your students and your other members should behave like that.
There is the one point, like I think, as you just said towards the end of it, do you feel like most of the teachers lack in it? Because I think when it comes down to being the practical picture of it, portraying themselves into it, a complete role of it, Do you feel like that is one thing that is just killing our culture and society up to a certain extent? They are just not showing that sort of a picture that people would like to know about, or follow about, or idealize them up. Because student, one way or the other, idealize the teacher. That is for sure. If the teacher is giving a practical example of it, portraying it by his own deeds, I think it becomes more easier for the students to follow it out. Otherwise, if the teacher comes out of that room and start doing contrary to it, then the students think like, okay, if this person is doing that way, then it's easy for me. So are we following that sort of a thing in our culture these days?
Actually, Ubaid, it's totally depends. What I feel, even what I was,
Yeah.
even if I see when I joined this profession, I was also used to just try to skip the things and try to be more easy. I still remember uh, the only age difference between my students was just maybe 2 years. So I was in class, and even maybe uh, it was quite difficult to differentiate either he is teacher or student. So in early age, it becomes very difficult. So because we are just having a graduation, and we have very good friends and senior badges and junior badges, and then we try to like maintain the things, friendships and all the things, and it becomes very hard to maintain all the decorum. But after 1 or 2 years of experience, the totally scenario becomes changed.
Yeah.
Then you starting getting the responsibility, and then after I think maybe 5 or 7 years of your career, you have a shift. Then your students totally uh, following you as a role model. But of course,
But
there are
still
also
there is a
5
lack,
to
I
ten
think.
percent.
Yeah.
There are again a few examples. After even more experience, the people like them, but in a different way.
Yeah.
For example, maybe due to his jokes, right? Maybe due to his casual dress. So okay, this teacher is very good, he do not take care about these things, and whenever he feel good, he wears the jeans and half sleeves and just come and slipper, but he is a very good teacher. But definitely at later stage, uh, they also realize the professional norms matters a lot. It really matters a lot, because you are also running a business and you have startups. When your employee is very casual, even in terms of dressing, even in terms of communication, even in terms of working, meeting deadlines. So it is not considered in any organization, not only in teaching, rather in any organization. Nobody bother anyone if his attitude, communication, or his way of answering, way of anything, they don't like it. It's my opinion. I think maybe you will agree on
No,
this.
no, that is totally fine. Like professionalism is, the key to success in every sort of department we look at, in every sort of business we look at. If somebody is casual about things, somebody is casual about habits, somebody is casual about communication, that hurts one way or the other. That is totally fine, and I think I can totally second you on that.
But definitely, no, the norms has been little bit changed. Uh, maybe the teachers has also lost their respect.
Yeah.
So it's a two-way. No, the education is also considered as a business. To be honest,
That is the thing that I would love to discuss with you
yeah.
today. I mean,
So
like,
because nowadays the education is just
making
becoming
money.
like a business. So when they think like that, and the stakeholders, either student or their parents, they also feel like they are the employees, or we have like we are paying some sort of money to them, and they are answerable to us. The real respect of the teacher has been lost. I think it's the fault of our community as well, because we are unable to meet the real teachers' expectations and all the things.
I think the gap exists from both sides. I
Yeah.
mean, like the parents, there is a lack of respect, as you said, towards the teachers, I think,
Bad,
or the students, I think.
the reason is, if you remember, or maybe if you discuss with your parents, like in early ages, the teacher was
Considered as a
not
father of,
considered as a
the,
father, and even he was not fond of, you can say, earning or getting higher
yeah,
salary.
there is.
Okay, jumping from one position to another just because they are giving me higher salary. uh, the teacher joined the profession just considered as it's like a preaching. So the teaching was considered like a preaching, so we have to transfer the knowledge. But no, if we see most of majority of us, we just see, okay, which university, which institute is giving higher salaries, we just
Yeah.
join and switch. So it means when we do these type of things and we are in the same race, so then ultimately stakeholders get the benefit of these things.
But sir, doesn't this also relate to one point? Like teachers are not getting paid as they should have been. I mean, like that is, I think, another point is that like our society, our culture is not giving that sort of an importance in a monetary side to the teachers. I think the teacher is still one of that professions that is underpaid with a lot. I think that is something that should have been taken notice at a bigger stage, at a bigger level, because I think there is a lot that the teacher should do, a lot that the teacher can do, because he's actually, whatever the teacher is doing right now, I mean, he's actually teaching 25 to 30 individuals to be the least, in one classroom. So even if he's taking one classroom, he's actually taking the fortune or the future of 25 to 30 individuals, and those 25 to 30 individuals, if they can go big, that can play a huge role. And if we just multiply it with around maybe 50 teachers, with 25 numbers. So it's a huge number turning out. And if we even get these sort of quality individuals that can transform to a big level, so still, even those teachers, they give it to the fullest. I think there is a lack of reward going around in that case. And I think you are the one who can answer it in the best way, because you have gone through the different stages of the teachers, And if somebody is not fulfilling, at the end of the day, it's about making money one way or the other. You'll actually have to get enough money that you can feed your home, you can feed your children, right? But I still know some of the teachers. They've been excellent. They've been excellent in early stages of studies as well. Delivering it to the best. But if we just consider their wages, their salaries with what they should have been making, they are far too less, and the opportunities are far too less, and the organizations are keep on pressing them up that you should not be getting more wages, and I think that is probably killing the whole essence of it. Because today, having you, I think that is the purpose, that we can talk about the root causes over the things. That what is this making us a problematic over this case? Because education is mighty important for us. If anything that can change us, I think it's education.
Yes.
Yeah.
So definitely, I will say I am 200% agreed on this. Education is the way forward, which can change the generations, not only to the specific person, rather it will change the generations. Uh, Regarding the question, I think there are two factors which I considered, like why we cannot offer too much salaries to our faculty members or the teachers. Of course, I agree, we should uh, give the salary whatever the other organizations are giving to us, some productive and useful resource person. So first of all, I am agreed. Definitely, the faculty members in the universities, in the colleges, are being less paid. And even if I see in the schools, it's like you can say, really,
It's a pocket money sort of a stuff.
pocket money are
It's a
like
stipend
very
sort of a stuff.
embarrassing
Yeah, very
when we
embarrassing.
listen like uh, masters holding
And
a
even a
faculty
school teacher
member.
is setting the base of the student. I mean, like
Yeah,
we
and they
can
are being
understand.
paid just like, even I think it's very difficult even to manage their transportation cost,
Yeah.
like to go and just be ready and then come back, and I think it's quite difficult. But like if I talk about the higher education systems, I because it's totally different things. So there are, I think, two factors which I considered why I do not prefer to join any other organization. For example, if I take my own example, like if I see the technology industry and they are offering a huge salary uh, to a person like I have experience, and even like for example, if I say I'm not too much coder or the technical persons like the young generation have, but still the big companies and the organizations also need a good managers. Those can manage their teams, those can get their jobs on time and plan future things and all the things. So there are multiple job options which can be, and even alhamdulillah, even technically we are teachers, so we can perform well. But if I take my own perspective, why I do not switch? For example, if I'm being underpaid, then why I do not switch? First of all, the same thing, because I started this journey, this profession. Since then, when even I do not have anything which I was like being having a motivation to earn something, right? So I joined this profession by myself, and I want to take or want to groom in this profession, and alhamdulillah, I have achieved those targets which I uh, thought at the early career, right? So the second, in the first thing, still why I want to stay. I think it's a quite relaxing job in my point of view,
The teaching.
the teaching, right? It's a quite relaxing job as compared to other profession. For example, it's totally 9 to 5 job, right? After 5 o'clock, you don't have much responsibilities as compared to the other organization and jobs. You have proper weekends, right? You have proper semester break or summer breaks in which you can plan a family trip, right? I think in other organization it's not possible. Maybe it's possible, but it's very difficult. Like when you have a different type of deadlines which you have to meet, so definitely you transfer that pressure to your team, and sometimes your team is working midnights and you have to say no weekend on this during these things. But um, you can see faculty member are enjoying Saturday and Sunday, and even sometimes if they have any other personal commitment, they can take leave off, and even they have medical emergencies, they can manage during their job with full salary, so they can have overseas trip with full salaries. So this is the extra advantage which I felt you have the liberty in teaching. In this again in this context, you have another thing that is like you have relaxable job. So this is the like one element, and the second thing is you can also give your time to family members,
Yeah.
right? Your friends after in the evening.
So you can
during
have
the
your good
weekends,
social life as well.
social life as well. And above all, you have very good friends. You have very dynamic network of your students. Your students are sitting across the country. Your students are sitting across the globe. You can find your students in America. You can find your students in Australia. You can find your students in Middle East.
So you can see your lifetime achievements throughout your lifetime.
Throughout your life, and even that networks grows every year,
Yeah.
right? But in organization, you have limited people and limited client. You are dealing throughout your life with limited chunk of peoples. They know you, you know them, and after that you don't have life. But with this, what appeals me, what give me pleasure, like you have a family member changing, growing every year. So this is the first point. The second point, again, we have the responsibility,
Yeah, to feed at home, to
Right.
feed at home, to bring money at home, that is also the thing.
and the second thing which I felt, we have the responsibility to pay back to our nation, right? If you are paying back to nation, it means you are charging very economical fee from your students. If you have to pay higher to your faculty, your staff, it means you have to charge higher from your client. Right? You cannot pay higher to your client, your staff until unless you get higher from your client. So it means our clients are our students.
Yeah.
So if university will start charging higher
Yeah.
to pay
Ultimately,
your
the whole cycle is gonna go high.
right, so ultimately where the impact will come, it will goes to the society. So it means there is a possibility we will not able to train, we will not able to provide education to the community, to the intelligent people. So that's why we normally have a long debates on this. Okay, either we should increase our fees or not. Then we always discourage this thing. And I would like to mention one thing. As I remember, I am part of higher management since COVID. I think in 2019 or then 20 January, main peak of COVID came. As I remember, since 19 till 2023, so it's around 4 years. Can you imagine how much percentage fast university increases in term of fees? Any guess?
I can go generic around 10%, 10, 15% maybe.
Every year or in 4 years?
I think every year it can be 10%.
It can be every year 10%.
10%.
You will be surprised to know in 4 years, fast just increase around 5% of tuition fee. So now you can imagine 5% of total revenue has been increased in last 4 years. And what about the inflation?
Yeah, it has gone big, you know.
So if you talk like
100%, I think.
maybe more than 100%,
More than 100%,
like the electricity bills,
It's huge. Like
Right?
it has doubled up or tripled up, you know.
like the transportation,
Yeah.
maintenance cost,
Huge.
internet cost,
I agree.
right? Any tear and wear, any new furniture, any upgradation of the labs, any running items,
Yeah. Huge.
right?
Yeah.
In last like 4
years,
years,
it has
even
changed
if I say 2 years, it has been doubled. But in 4 years, the fees has been increased only 5%. So if you say it's just 1.5% per year,
Yeah, that is too less. I mean, if we hire an employee for even a 10%, a semi-annual increment, he denies it altogether, you know, all of a sudden, you know,
right?
in the
So it
organization.
means the faculty salaries has been increased.
Yeah.
As I remember, and even the session is being recorded, as I remember, the minimum salary increase, like in 4 years, at least 20% has been increased in the same institute. No, you are getting from the client only 5%, and you are giving to your teachers 20% higher since last 4 years. Beside that, the all other cost has been doubled, but we try to not shift this burden to our client. So because our client is different type of
I can understand the equation, yeah.
so this is the main thing. One, which motivates you, like you are having a huge network, you are having a huge family, and you have a bit relaxing life as compared to other profession. And the other thing, you thought, okay, this is a noble cause and we should continue even at this salary. But of course, if we will start paying higher, then ultimately for private sector the burden will go to the students, and for government sector the burden will go to directly the government. They don't have also budget for such type of things, spending huge salaries to the staff and faculty members.
A lot of questions has popped up into our recent discussion. Do you feel like our school system is just spoiling up a big time and, you know, creating a lot of question marks on the education? Because the student spends around 11. In our system, he spends minimum around 11 years at the school, you know, starting from, you know, pre-1, he spent around 11 or 12 years, to be 11 to say the least. And he spends 11 years in the school. And when he just comes out of the school, I think that is the age that the base of the student gets ready, you know, to be ready to be exposed out into the higher education, to know all the basics of the stuff. I still remember, my time being joining the fast, I had no clue about like how to even create the PowerPoint slides, And there is, my life and my age has been gone around 18, 19 years have been gone till then, So at that age, not knowing how to present myself, being very clear about it. And I think we shouldn't be shy about discussing it out though, because that is a problem for a tons of students these days, So not being able to present myself, not being able to communicate myself, programming can come later, coding can come later. That is fine. You learning the technical skills can come later. But in the core education, that is a survival. You need to be a good communicator. You need to have soft skills. You need to have ethical values. You need to present yourself. You need to, uh, portray yourself. You need to, put all the information on table. And all these things, I think I just felt out lacking in many of the students in my group, to be fair. So then starting a new journey altogether for another 4-year plan, and 18 or 17 years of my life has already been gone. So is it the root cause, it's creating a problem? Because
Okay,
yeah.
Ubaid, if I ask you a very simple question, what is the population, just estimated population or percentage living in rural area and in urban area? Like if I say, what is the roughly percentage?
I think it's a 70-30.
70 30.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
it's a
70
70-30.
is living in rural area.
In rural areas. 30 is the urban area.
So does we have better schools in rural
No,
areas?
not at all. Not at all. I'm talking about, coming out from a better school. If living in that 30% chunk. Yeah.
So it means we are wasting 70% of youth,
Yeah.
right? Unfortunately, we do not have proper education facilities, health facilities, drinking water, all the facilities in 70% of population area,
Yeah.
right? So it means no, we are talking only about 30%.
Yeah, and I'm the part of that 30% and
You are the
still
part
having
of
that sort of lack, I mean, we can understand it out where we are going, in the whole
right?
context, yeah.
So out of 30%, nobody want to move to that 70%.
Not at all.
For example, if you are a teacher, if you are a medical professional, you have completed, you have been given an opportunity to be in that 30%. But still you are not ready to go back to that area
Yeah.
and provide your services to
Yeah.
that rural area. So if you see, if like the government has tried to establish some medical center, government has tried to establish some institution like the primary schools or higher secondary schools in rural area, but still we are lacking of human resource which can be deployed there, right? If someone asks, either you want to go to teach that school for 1 year, no, I cannot. If I ask any medical doctor, would you be happy to serve for at least 1 year in that rural area? They will say no. And you know what type of methods are being used, I will not discuss here. Another thing, maybe you can cut this part if you want. If you want to be live, it's
No,
up
no,
to you.
we'll keep it.
Recently, I visited China and I met with few Indian persons there as a researcher or from the university. We were discussing about the Pakistan and India and how the India is growing and what's the Pakistan and what are the factors and how their government is playing role and what. And it's true. When I ask question, what type of improvement has been made in India,
Yeah.
I received a very surprising answer. He said, no, every house has a toilet.
Oh. What an improvement.
Right? So the recent government has given too much loans to establish and develop toilets in their homes, and know the cleanness and all the factors, hygienic has been improved because the persons, because the family has their own toilet in their home. Before that, they have to go outside and all the things. So now you can imagine where we are standing. So if they feel we have grown up by just adding this facility, what about Pakistan? What about us? The same, unfortunately, we do not have such type of basic facilities
Available.
available in schools, available in at public places,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
right? I don't have the exact figure at the moment, but still I feel you will have easily, you will find schools which do not still have the classroom facilities. And you are talking about the PowerPoints and the Excel and all the allied things. 70% chunks do not have even the good teachers, good resources. I can easily name schools, but I
Yeah.
would don't like to mention
Yeah.
here. They do
Totally
not
understand.
have the uniforms. The students cannot afford the uniforms, shoes. So how we can expect? But ultimately, uh, they are good, intelligent students, and
Coming out of there. Yeah. Still, they are doing it on their own.
their own.
The system is not facilitating them, but they are doing it on their own. But still, that is the same debate that we are just playing with the numbers. I mean, like a person who can do it on his own is a very 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 little chunk of the whole population. Everybody doesn't have that sort of a skill altogether. Inherited.
And then
or all that.
definitely, like there are few schools who charge too much,
Yeah.
right? And they are meeting the expectation of parents.
Yeah.
But they are very few. You can say just maybe 1% out of the 30%. It's quite easy when you compare the data. You will be also very surprised to know like maybe only 4 to 6% of the youth population has the chance to enroll in the university. Like it looks like there are huge number of students
Coming in.
universities and huge number of graduates are being produced. Uh, Again, from the recent visit, another example, I asked my one colleague, my Pakistani professor, he was there and who invited me, and I visited there. What is the unemployment ratio in China? Right after graduating, did students find any hard to get any job? No. 0% unemployment.
Oh my God.
Right, in 7th semester, in 8th semester, they
They get
have
hired somewhere.
already jobs. They have started their own startups, all the things. So there
And it
is
is a huge population. You're talking
huge
about
population.
You're talking about China. I mean,
I'm talking about the China, and I received this answer from a university professor. So I'm not saying I took this data from somewhere else, because he was teaching in one university and very renowned and top-ranked university of China, and he answered this. There is no unemployment, because I was considering like, from underdeveloping countries. No, we should consider underdeveloping or least developing countries like the Bangladesh, Pakistan, or the Philippines or Myanmar or something like the Southeast Asian population coming to China, or maybe they want to do some odd jobs. So maybe the Chinese people are also having such type of things or scenario. He said no. And even another thing which I was amazed to see, the odd jobs were also being performed by Chinese people, but by the elders, not by the youth.
So they always push the youth to do the core stuff, the main stuff.
So it means
Generational change.
the graduates are being engaged by the government and by the society. So you cannot say like we are having a huge graduate and where they will go, what will be the future. Always we see in the university too many students, what after graduation, what they will do. So China is a huge population and huge number of students, and even they are nowadays, they are inviting international students and offering scholarships to them. They are graduating, they are engaging them, they are
And that's how they are the change makers, you know. I mean, like we see like our young individuals talking about the politics all day out, you know. I mean, like talking about that political party. I mean, like you have recently been into China and you came to know about the fact like no political talks going around, you know. There is nothing as such, you know.
No, they have, but it's
But
a
not to
different,
that frequency that we just
but
talking about, you
not
know.
on the cost of,
Wasting your time, you know,
you can say,
your mental health.
country development.
Yeah, yeah,
Like if what I see and I came to know, there is no compromise on the nation,
yeah.
on the country. So first of all, care about the country, and then about personal.
But they're not going too deep into this sort of a stuff, like it starts affecting their mental health, you know, start wasting their time. But they're just more keen to, you know, do their own work. But it is, you know, a certain part of the things or the culture at our surroundings that most of the youth is too much engaged into the political discussions. And rather than, you know, and rather than, you know, being focused in terms of enhancing their knowledge or, you know, learning themselves.
And the second thing, like they provide the easiness to for the learning.
Yeah.
Like when I was in Japan, I saw all the softwares, all the technologies, all the gadgets are being used in Japanese language.
Yeah.
So they do not have prefer the other languages. So this I saw 13 years back. And similarly in even the Thailand, they use their native language, and if you talk with them in other language, maybe in English, or they cannot even talk with you. Or the same is with the Japanese, the same is with the Chinese. They do not understand, like I'm talking about the general public, not with for the specific
No,
people.
I understand. I had been to Thailand and I myself has realized that.
So it's quite difficult to deal with them, with the shopkeeper,
Yeah.
with the taxi staff, with the hotel staff, even at the airport with few staff. It's only the limited staff is available who can talk with the English, and the same in the Japan. So, but they have grown up in their own language. So this is also another factor. Like you should provide the opportunities for learning instead of focusing on
The
some
communication
language
barriers and all that
communication and
stuff.
all the things.
Yeah, let's move in towards the next main question. That is, you know, I feel like that is a big debate to be discussed out with a person who has spent his reasonable time in the education. Does it feel like still there is a requirement for a degree or, you know, any sort of a documentational, you know, a document in a simple way? Does it require to have any sort of a document or a degree to be a teacher? I'm not saying like, you know, to be a professional, to be part of organization or to be employed somewhere, but just to be a teacher. Because I sometimes don't back it with completely into it, but sometimes I feel like a person who has practically done it, you know, a person who has practically, you know, achieved certain milestones in any sort of a business, in entrepreneurship, in the startups, you know, I think they can be the better teachers one way or the other. That you can contrary on that. It's not predefined, but they can be the better teachers because they themselves has done that, you know. So they might be lacking a bit in the communication or other things, but they know all those processes through which they have actually just come through, and they can probably guide the people into more effectiveness, you know. But still, if they want to become a teacher or if they want to, you know, be attached with any sort of an organization, there are so many barriers, you know. I mean, like there is a need for the document, there is a need for the degree, there is a need for all those elements that are required. Like nobody is going to go past if he hasn't possessed the degree, but he has achieved something remarkable being in the startups industry, right? Does it require, you feel like it should be a need, or it should be open? And other way is that like the teacher can be validated differently. You know, I'm not saying it out like you don't validate it, but a teacher can be validated differently on the basis of what he possesses, so that he can actually transfer exactly that is required to the students that way. So do you feel like that way?
Actually, maybe I need a little bit clarity on the degree. First of all, you are asking about a teacher having degree
Yeah, I'm asking
and
about
then
and
having a professional
career as a teacher.
career as a teacher. Like for example, if we say I hold a master degree,
Yeah.
and then again, do I need to have M.Ed or B.Ed?
No. I'm asking like, does it require to have a master's degree to become a teacher, or somebody who can come from the academics, somebody from the
From the
organization,
industry, from
from
the
the industry who can teach it, and that the one who applies that way, that can be validated differently, like some skills, some test validations, like whether he has actually achieved it, some number validations and all that stuff, so that he can probably guide the people
Okay,
more effectively.
I got the point, because first I was
Yeah.
bit confusing about, like, there is also a two type of things,
Yeah, I understand.
like you cannot be a teacher unless, especially in the government colleges and some, you don't have MA or
Yeah,
B.Ed,
you don't
right?
have a
So
degree, you cannot be a teacher.
you even you have a master degree, but without having B.Ed, something like
Yeah,
that,
so you cannot teach.
you cannot teach. So one aspect is there, that can be
The purpose of
represent
asking
different.
this question is that, like,
But
I still feel
no,
like conventional teachers,
yeah,
sitting there on the education
I
institutes.
got that point. No, I think again I will talk about the university. University's main objective is not to transfer knowledge. University's main objective is to produce and innovate knowledge. So transferring knowledge is different thing. To innovate and producing knowledge is different thing. Transfer knowledge is like you know something
And you delegate.
and you transfer it. Like, for example, how to prepare a cup of tea. You have expertise on preparing a cup of tea, and you teach someone how to prepare, even you don't have any professional degree of cooking or something like that.
Yeah.
Chef, right? So what I think, this is the transfer of knowledge. The transfer of knowledge can be through book, through YouTube channel, or through any experience. To innovate knowledge, you must have the basics. You must have the strong grip on the whole scenario. Right? So just knowing about preparing a tea, and then after modifying tea based on the need, like, okay, he's a sugar patient, so I should not add the sugar. He's a blood pressure patient, I should reduce these content. So this is a sort of example
I
of
understand.
innovating a new thing based on the need.
Yeah.
So I think without the degree, you cannot innovate the things. So this is my perspective. So that's why university, because teach to innovate and produce new knowledge. Like, for example, in the COVID, all your methodologies, all your strategies failed. So if you have a strong grip
On the basics.
on the tools and the technologies, then you can think, considering your data set, your tools, what are the safer way to execute. So this is all done by the university or through the process. So for example, like if I say advanced web technologies or the need, mobile application development or the needs, what was 10 years ago? If a person has strong grip on like marketing or traditional marketing, so today they cannot survive, they are not using the digital marketing tools. The concept or the foundation is the same, but to enhance knowledge, to add value matters a lot. The university teachers enabled students to innovate things, to find the way, to find the path. Just don't stack, I don't know. It's just simple example, like, for example, if any carpenter or mason has grip on some things, you ask, can you make this design? He say, no, I have never worked on this. I cannot do these things. If you call another expert, he will start measuring the things.
He'll start from the scratch.
He will start from the scratch. He will design the things. Then he will think about the tools available with him. Okay, I will apply this tool. This will be the output. So then considering based on the tools, methods, knowledge, information, collectively converted into the wisdom.
That's pretty much the summing it up, I mean, totally understandable in this case. And I think that sums up, that discussion of probably the education versus the skills too. Taking it ahead, I mean, literally I have tons of questions that probably, time is too short in this case, because education is the one thing, as we just talked about, like that is, if anything that can change us, I think that is probably the education. It's not about the skill, it's not about, doing stuff day in and day out. It's about the education. We need our youth to be educated and educated about. It's not about the typical having those pieces of paper about the degree. The education, the core part of education, right? और वही बात है, अभी भी रास्ते में आते हुए I read it कि इल्म मोमिन की मिरास है. एंड आई थिंक हमने शायद यही विरासत छोड़ के हर उस विरासत के लिए लड़ना शुरू कर दिया, और इल्म की विरासत को तो हम किसी खाते में नहीं लिखते.
और ये वो विरासत जो चोरी भी नहीं हो सकती,
जो चोरी भी नहीं हो सकती, राइट?
ठीक है, nobody can take it.
Nobody can take it. And I think this has the best ROI as well. In your whole life, if you take out, all those investments and all those things, I think education is the one thing that has the best ROI, right?
Before taking your question, really sorry, I would like to interrupt.
No worries.
You have seen different families investing in many things, like on property, buying a plot, doing something, depositing in banks. Like this way, at later stage, it will be beneficial when we will have a hard time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we do not invest on education.
Yeah.
We do not send our children to highly paid institution, and we just have a thinking these are the money making institutes.
Yeah.
But I have observed
They return the big time.
they return for a longer time. They groom your children, and even maybe at that time you don't need that property which you put on reserve, like it will be helpful at later stage, maybe to marry your children, maybe for your medical expenses at elderly age.
Right.
But if you do not invest in these alternative sources and you invest on your children, you will see you will not have to worry at later stage. When your children grow up, they have good career, they started good earning, then it will provide you very much comfort to their parents.
Yeah, that is totally fine.
And I have observed few families knows the values of this education. I am surprised because I am dealing with the families from all across the Pakistan. At the moment, we have students from Karachi and we have students from Hunza, Gilgit. Right? I mean, even the female students coming from Hunza and Gilgit at Chinor Faisalabad campus. Right? So it looks very surprising when I see some father from village with very limited resources
Yeah.
admit his or her daughter in fast, and he has the vision after getting education from this institute, it will be a big return. Right? So this is also another factor we need to realize it. If we must invest
In education.
in education for our children. And there are many people who have understanding, okay, we'll see when they will grow and they will find some their opportunity and they should start job, and there is nothing in return of education. So maybe that education is not at par the requirement of the industry, of the community, of the society.
Yeah, that is totally fine. And I think one another point is that, like, rather than your kids returning the efforts back to you, I think when you see your kids flourishing, when you see your kids, growing every day, I think that is where probably you understand the importance of that investment, because that ultimately makes
And
you proud.
about another example, I was serving in University of Gujarat in BPS 20, and like at very young age, like at that time maybe I was 35, 36 years old. So at the stage of 35, 36 years, you are having BPS 20 grade in government sector. It's a huge success like at this age if you see all around the area, right? I thought I should move and I should switch the organization. And then, we have the norms, and of course, we get very good opinions, suggestions from our elders. I discussed this with my father. I'm telling you very honestly.
Yeah.
Should I resign and should I leave this institute and should I join fast? Because I was having an option.
Yeah.
He asked me because he do not know about the education system and all the things, and the experienced persons ask these questions, collect the data set, and based on their experience they give the opinion,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
No doubt.
So my father asked me different questions. Okay, what will be the benefit if you stay here? What will be the benefit if you go there? What are the opportunities? So different type of questions. I think, as I remember, the major difference was the salary, right? And then the reputation of the institute. So when I tell him all the things, I said, there is a main benefit of joining government sector institute and stay here. Like when I will be retired after 60 years, I will get the pension. So even I do not do anything, I will get some things for survival. And on the other hand, I will get handsome amount during my retirement, which I can spend for my children, for constructing house and all the things, for my later life. I remembered my father's response. I think it's better to get good reward at the moment and invest it on your children and yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe at the age of 60,
You don't need to worry
you
about the
don't need that money to invest on your children and for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's better try to invest what you are having in your younger age.
Yeah.
So after listening this, I switched and I moved. Right? And still, alhamdulillah, I feel it was a very good decision. Like I got the opportunity to serve this institute, and like what type of efforts has been made in extending the infrastructure, in uplifting the programs, and in achieving high excellency. So alhamdulillah, we did it with the guidance of higher management and with the support of my faculty and all the staff members.
Yeah.
So it was a timely decision, what I learned. So again, to invest in current is far better to wait and decide the things when maybe you don't have the capacity and you don't need it.
That is some advice. That is some good. Talking about the students now, like coming down to the students' point of view. What students are lacking, like we talked about, a lot of challenges in the ecosystem, a lot of challenges in the whole environment in the society. What do you like to say to the students, to enrich and prosper in the life, in the modern day life? As we just talked about, like recently, a lot of things have actually changed, and the speed of the change is so rapid. What do you talk about the students? What do you say to the students like cop up this. And I think now we are seeing like the students at the early stages, they are realizing the fact that they need to go big, at the earliest stages of their life. The lifespan has reduced a bit. The health, I mean, like the studies really dictate us, like the lifespan has reduced down. So you need to hurry up over the things, not need to rush about the things, but to hurry up about the things and to get the education, the right education for yourself. So what's you gonna say about the students, like what they need to possess, in terms of prospering in the modern day life? Because you come across, tons of students.
Ubaid, very tough question to answer, literally.
Yeah.
Before giving your to the point answer, I will start with an example. I was discussing this thing
Yeah.
with my one uncle. It's very difficult to tackle, to handle, to manage this youth. Literally, it's very difficult. It's becoming very difficult.
Yeah.
I will start with one of my example. Then when I was discussing with my uncle and he gave me one example, I will repeat that example and then I will give another example. He said, yes, it's very difficult. I was offering prayer, and after offering prayer, I saw a young boy who was drinking water from a water cooler. And what I saw, he filled full glass of water and he just drink half of it and then he throw the water. The cold water in the summer. And I just advise him, beta, please don't throw the water. You must fill according to your need. And the answer was, uncle, what is the issue to you?
It's my life. Yeah, that was scary. Yeah.
Right? Similarly, I'm telling you a real example. Maybe my students are watching this or will watch this.
No, they need to watch this. These are the things that go a long way.
I was having one presentation and telling the rules and the regulation. And I think his good gesture, he did not ask in front of all students. After the session, he come to me and he said, like, you cannot force us to do these things. We are grown up. And it's our choice who we spend our life. Right? Literally, I'm telling you the real-time example, maybe from last 2 or 3 months. I was delivering the norms and all the things police is telling, especially because the first semester students came and they don't have the ideas of rules and regulations, and later on they drop out, and then they said we don't have the idea and all the things, and we were unfamiliar, we did not attend the orientation session, so we missed it. So I thought in the middle of the semester it's a good time. No, they have the sessional results, so still the final is there, they can improve, and I was motivating them and all the things. You must abide these things, you must follow these things, and this will lead to success. After closing the section, because they have another class, so I told them you can leave the class, and if you have specific questions, I am here, you can come and ask me any type of question. And one student came, and I still don't remember his name, but
Remember
he said
what he did.
He said, why you are enforcing us to do these type of things? We are adults and we are grown-ups and we know. Maybe the example was, for example, smoking. The smoking is not allowed in campus.
Yeah.
He said, what is the issue to university? We are spending from our own pocket, and why you are forcing us to not smoke in the campus? So we are grown up and we know what is good for us and what is bad for us. And there should be no policy, such type of policy. So I can also tell the answer what I
Yeah, I think you
set.
must go.
So
Because this can probably set the tone, for most of the students who think like this way.
yeah.
This can go a long way. This shouldn't be
So
entertained that way.
definitely, I told him like, beta, we have the norms of this institute, and we have to ensure the protocol of the rules. I give him one example, like I am the campus director, and I can go anywhere in the campus. Even I can like ask my staff to open this hall. They will not ask me why we need to open. It's not a time to open this hall. And similarly, when I am going to offer a prayer, I am having a very costly and new branded shoes. When I will enter into the prayer hall, I have to wear out the shoes. That place does not allow even director campus to enter into that space with shoes, because that is the decorum and respect of that place.
Exactly.
It's not about the cost, it's not about the designation. Okay, who is going to enter into this place? What type of shoes he is wearing? It's about the respect of that place. Even there is no prayer mat, even there is no tile, still I cannot enter into that place with shoes. So similarly, to maintain the norms of these institutions, it does not allow you to violate the policies. So if you want to enjoy the freedom, you have multiple options. You have multiple places to enjoy this freedom, but not within this boundary. Similarly, I cannot wear the shoes in that boundary. So same way, the students cannot smoke in this boundary. However,
In the outside world,
outside of this boundary, you have freedom. So you can enjoy. So when you are getting such type of response from the youth, now I'm coming to your point.
and also like just the reason that I don't forget it out. Now this relates to that point that you probably just try to stop him, just telling him about the decorum of that place.
Yes.
But instead of that, if the teachers have been given that sort of rights, that are religious, that are religious teachings do give to the teachers. If that you utilize that out, I think you can just simply tell him out like that is something that has been told by me because I'm being the teacher of you, and that is something that you should obey it out rather than just talking about the decorum of the place altogether. But unfortunately, now the respect of the teachers have gone, to that level. Nobody is gonna come up with that point. Obviously, you just justify it with the most possible, the answer that way.
And the second thing, our parents have also
Bag them, bag the
back
students.
them. And for example, if someone is riding a bicycle with high speed in the town,
Yeah. So you
and
can stop.
if you stop someone, again, beta, please don't do this, it will be dangerous for you. And then maybe the elder brother or the father will come, what is the issue to you? He is enjoying his own bicycle, and my fuel is being spent on this, and what is the issue to you? So this type of argument encourage them to disrespect the community and the society.
And disrespect those individuals that they should have been respected out. I mean, like teachers, if we just try to understand the importance and the respectable elements of the teacher, I think a student can never raise a head once again in front of you, to be very fair. So we have gone into a bit of a demoralized factor, to that level. So yeah, now you can just answer it out that way. Like, what can put this youth into the right path? What do you think? Being watching the youth so closely.
Literally, I spent a lot of time in, again, Japan. I was visiting researcher there in Tokyo. Beside this, I have been to multiple countries in United States, in Australia, and all the Middle East and all the things. But Once someone asked me, like, if you had opportunity to settle down, what is your favorite country? So I said, Japan. He was expecting, like, maybe I will say States or Australia, because mostly people prefer there. He said, what's the reason? I said, they have maintained their culture, norms, and they pay respect to their elders. What I have seen there. You know, one maybe out of topic things. When I was there, I asked another senior professor, how you pay the faculty member, based on education or based on research publication, and what are the factors when you hire a faculty member or researcher, how you pay? He answered, in Japan, the salaries are not based on the education and the research profile and all the things. Our major factor is on the basis of age. So Japanese people feel the elder people have more contribution for the society and nation, so he should be paid higher.
Nice.
So this is, now you can understand the respect being given to the elders. But in contradict,
Yeah.
the young people said, what they are doing, we are doing everything,
Yeah.
and they are relying on us.
Yeah.
We are changing the world.
Yeah. Yeah. We are going in a contrary side of it.
So again, the attitude and all these things matters a lot.
Once again, like, what are the top 2 or 3 things that you would say? Like, the reason of asking it again and again and with you is that, like, you see students day in and day out, a lot of students come in and go out, in front of you, and you feel like this person. And I think a person with having the experience like you have, and having the contribution that you have in the educational department, I think he can know about the next person, the next student who is 20 years old, 22 years old, right away by looking at his face, what he's up to, right? So you can probably advise the right thing out of it. So what the student should do? I mean, like, what we are just lacking out at the age of 20, 25.
I will give you one example from my today's emails.
Yeah.
I recently, yesterday or the day before yesterday, I declared my subject results.
Okay.
So there was some issue in, I think, maybe in the system or in the evaluation, and when the grade declared, there was some outliers. And one student supported me, and he started like arguing, like, my this evaluations are missing, this is flana. So. He write me money. I'm telling you this from today's emails.
I'll try to extract the answers out of it.
Yeah. And then instead of responding his answer accurately, and he will also listen, see this. So I wrote, I have just rechecked your marks, and your final marks has been updated incorrectly. I have put higher marks, but actually it's lower. He was asking me about the
To raise the marks.
assignments, like, you have not considered this, or maybe it has been mistakenly, or maybe intentionally, something like that. But instead of replying that, I responded, your final marks has been
Cut down to this.
uploaded, not cut down, uploaded
Okay.
incorrectly
Okay.
as compared to the actual marks. So I will update it correctly. He thought maybe I have better marks. He said, okay, thank you very much. It will be nice if you increase my marks. I said, no, not increase. It is going to be decreased. And then he wrote email, I'm really sorry for disturbing you, and please accept my apology. And I am happy with my previous grade.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I responded to that email, considering your request and apology, your marks has been increased and updated, right? And then he responded, sir, thanks a lot, and I'm really humbled, and that's
Yeah.
right. So first of all, like, to be humble, and if you have done any mistake, be apologetic.
Yeah.
So there is no harm to say sorry or apology.
Yeah.
It will give you more respect and honor. So I think this is the main key element. When you thought, okay, it's my right, so I will take it. Ultimately, we have observed even in the court cases, ultimately it comes to apology and all the things, then the things get settled. If you remain argument, so the things will not get resolved. And similarly, don't carry forward too much burden of previous things on your shoulders. Try to forgive your peers, your juniors, your seniors. Even I should not say forgive your seniors, because seniors never do mistakes. So that's why we should not expect the seniors should apology from the juniors. It's similarly example. For example, I normally give a very rough example. In case you did not do any mistake, but your father thinks like you had done this mistake, he slapped you. Did you ask your father in return, please apology, and then the matter will be settled down? You will never ask your father or mother for apology on this. Even he did wrong. So if I do not think or cannot expect like my father or mother should apology from me on this wrong act. So I think majority, well, we have observed 5%, 10%, still ask them, father, you must, dad, you must apology on this,
Oh.
right? But 90%, 95% still, we never thought our father, our mother should apology from us because of this bad things or whatever, or misunderstandings. You can say misunderstanding. So similarly, I think we should not expect or we should not demand the apology from our seniors. Either you are in any professional career. For example, you should not demand apology from your teacher. Literally, during my experience, I have seen few emails, I have seen few applications from the students. Those have submitted to the director office or head of department. This teacher did bad or wrong with me. So intimate your teacher to write an apology letter to us. I think such type of
Oh, well.
attitude
Yeah.
will never grow you up. And similarly, if you are working in any organization, your manager did some wrong job, maybe intentionally or unintentionally,
Yeah.
even intentionally, you should not wait or expect your manager should say apology on this. If he says, I think he has a big heart, then you should feel lucky, like you have a senior or mentor like him, who is saying apology, or like you
Yeah,
are
I understand.
asking you for these things. I think he has a big heart. So I always quote my favorite quote, Warren Buffett. Look, when you hire a person, look for three things, right? hardworking, intelligence, and integrity.
Integrity. And integrity is the one that you should
If
show.
you don't find the last one, don't bother for the first two.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're intelligent, you're hardworking, has no value and meaning until unless you are not have
moving
that.
forward, like I had in my life, I'm still being young, and in my life I interacted with tons of teachers. I had been learning from them. I had been seeking information, education from them. But yeah, I really would love to say it out, like you are being the true teacher, because I think a lot of the people use the word being a teacher, but the teacher should be a package of everything, the way that he returns to the society one way or the other, in all certain domains. It's not about the skills only. It's not about making you enabled to thrive in your life only economically, or being wealthy about it, but setting the base of you so that you can just thrive in your life overall, whether you are financially strong or not, but you never lose your shape, you never lose your character, right?
Never.
You never lose your character. So I would, it's gonna be, it's gonna be
like
a right.
the teacher, one thing is that he should never be a personal.
Yeah.
He should not make decisions on the basis of person, gender, race, all the things, and even considering the financial constraint.
Yeah.
So, like I would like to give another example. When we were having a grading. So, because we recently changed the responsibility of the head of department, he was asking, sir, this grade is like this and this. So, I am unable to find the major difference, and the students are failed, something like that. I give him two examples. In one course, we can see a major cut, like the student having 35 and the next students on 32 grade, and of course we are failing to 32 and we are passing to 35, so there is a major difference.
Yeah.
In another subject, we are failing a student. Either I should not say we are failing, he is being failed because of 0.45, 0.2, 0.3 something, a very minor difference. So sometimes we receive the question, do you think it's a major difference? A student have performed better and he is passed, and he was not able to perform 0.25 and he is failed. So who you consider? So I said, like, we have to teach these students even minor efforts matters a lot.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we are giving a grade on the difference of 3 marks. Okay, grades can be given with the difference of 3 marks. But on the other hand, it's our responsibility to teach them your minor efforts matters a lot.
Yeah.
So on both way,
He's getting teached.
he is getting taught.
Yeah. That serves the purpose of it. And I
So,
understand.
but on the other hand, parents and students are saying, like, what is the difference? We unable to hear this. They are doing their own ways and just they failed us and all. I literally remember, again with real example, because I have plenty of real examples.
Yeah.
I would not mention the names, but few weeks ago we were offered dinner of one student's parents with family. But I know them since 10 years or before joining FAST, and he is a faculty member here. So when I entered into the university, maybe you can cut this if you feel it's a contradicting, or maybe
If you are comfortable with it.
no, I'm comfortable. Maybe sometimes it give rebuttal or
I understand.
Because you are sitting in one institute. And
Yeah, I understand.
so I was discussing with my wife. We are entering in a very big university. right? Where the knowledge is being spread all across the globe, and definitely they have very great and well-renowned university. I will not say
Yeah.
like they are not contributing anything. It very matured and very groomed university, but they are sending their children to Lonewala. So it means there is some difference, right? So what I want to mention, uh, that family's son got F grade because of 0 point some percent. And then they asked to her, the mother asked to her husband, talk to Dr. Shahzad and get this difference resolved, because it's very minor difference, and in our family, in our relatives,
Nobody
we
ever
never
failed.
received F grade, and it will destroy our respect and it will demotivate that students and all the things. He said, I cannot talk and I will not discuss. And then the mother visited and met with me and request, please grant and change this difference. And we did not. And I excused. We never have such type of practice. And this difference matters a lot. And then she annoyed and like, you are not listening, and then she left. I think it happened around 1 year ago. But we were having a dinner like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And then on the same table we are sitting. And she was praising our system.
Yeah.
And she said, I have seen a big change in my son because of that F grade. Now he becomes more attentive and giving more time towards his studies as compared to previously when he was having no F grade. So now he feels the responsibilities, he feels the timelines. So I think it was very good to get F grade.
Yeah, that's great. Well, coming down again, I mean, like it's a huge, I mean, like it's a huge debate and a lot of questions. Let's ask one question from your life, though. I mean, have you ever, felt that this is probably, too hard for me to carry it out? I mean, like being the teacher, you went from a journey from nothing to, being the director. Have you ever felt it out like this event or this was the something that really had been extremely hard for you to survive? But you did. Obviously, you did, because you are sitting over here, I mean, like being the director of the FAST. But you come across with that because, the students, we being the students, and the students, they really feel it out like you are being the director, and just sign the documents and sign things out and just, pass things out like this is going to happen this way, this is going to happen this way, and your life is a lot easier. I mean, like as we just began our, talkings. So the students feel like your life is, a piece of cake. You come in and, you sign the documents, you pass all those things to the people, you delegate your tasks, and you go out at home and you sleep. But we forget about that same case, like uneasy feels the head that wears the crown, right? So now I'm like being sitting at the fancy designation, but how hard it had been. And just if I ask you to narrate one event or one particular occasion that you felt like this is too hard for me, I cannot carry it out further ahead, because that will probably enable the students like how hard the journey becomes, how hard the journey has been. And we always see, what is being at the real life, and we never focus on the real life, what has happened in the real life, and how this person has suffered in his real life, and how he's actually been gone through to be the one that he is right now. So what's your take on this?
Actually, I already mentioned it's really hard, but sometimes someone has to lead,
Yeah.
right? So there are many incidents when I thought I should
Quit.
quit,
Yeah.
especially from the administrative post,
In this department.
not from as a teacher, because I think teaching is quite easy and relaxing job. As I mentioned, why we use teaching and why we adopt. But when you become the administrative, it's not a teaching. It's a different things, and you have to take care of different
Managerial
things.
activities and all. Yeah.
So, what observed, there are many incidents, and I think it's not good to mention here. But it suffers a lot towards my family, especially towards my health, especially to my like social community. So simply I can share one thing, like nowadays I have quit social media. So you will not find me on Facebook. You will not find me on WhatsApp. Before this, like maybe 1 week ago,
Yeah.
every student have my WhatsApp and they are sending me messages on weekend, on midnights, and I was continuously responding, and no one can say we have sent message to director and even to the parents. So my number was public with the parents,
Yeah,
and
I
still
know.
I have the same number. I have not changed my phone number,
Yes, I know that.
but I have deactivated my WhatsApp, I have deactivated my Facebook. So because it was affecting my health a lot, and especially uh, in terms when the students and the parents demanding from my office to violate the SOPs and all the things. For example, parents are requesting to give him good grade. Friends are requesting you to allow him in exams without meeting the attendance requirement. Other family are giving you pressure for multiple things.
Just to sum it up, like this question, have you come across with any sort of, very strict directions? With dhamki type bhi, कोई चीज या फिर anything like this?
I
Have you
don't
come
want
across
to mention it, but
No,
definitely,
I don't need the name or anything, but it happens.
but
I mean, like,
definitely it happened, and even I received the life threatening. Like, okay, you leave this from institute, and we will see you, and just because of one small issue of their children, not a bigger issue. For example, maybe there is can be reason we expelled one student and they are threatening because no, we have uh, like banned the student, we have destroy or all the things for example. But on
So
the
it
basis
happens.
of just to allow him for this reason, and we denied, and then we received different type of threats, abusive languages, and but still Ubaid, being a teacher, and I'm really telling from the heart, the when the matter was in the committee, and considering the severity, they give some recommendation. I quit myself from sitting in that committee, and later on I came to know they are asking for the apology and forgiveness, but the committee is reluctant. But it's not like too long,
Yeah.
or but still I told them leave them and accept the apology, because I told you don't keep burden on your shoulders. But it's not because of the pressure
Yeah.
or because of the threats. Ultimately not. I came here like
No,
I'm
no, no. That
moving
is,
and I'm going here and there. I am enjoying my family life.
Yeah.
I am going for dining. I'm going for even alone at multiple places for shopping. It's not because of the threats or anything. My students and my faculty are very clear about this. Dr. Shahzad never received any threats. He never compromised on merits and all those things. And he will not spare if these things will go into his court. So, and Alhamdulillah, I have not taken any pressure of my family and friends. Sometimes it happened like you
It gets transferred. Yeah, I
you-
heard.
like my wife is requesting, okay, do this, my father is requesting, do, they know even we will request, he will not listen. If it's manageable within the SOPs, definitely it will be done. I give you another example, and again it's going public. My one nephew took admission and he got admitted, and considering his some serious nature of habits by involving with senior students, and maybe they know uh, he is the nephew of Dr. Shahzad, and maybe we involved him maybe in smoking, maybe in drugs, or maybe in other violating of the things, and then we will have a chance of doing all the things, and we will have an example, right?
Yeah.
You know, when I just felt the smell, I called the driver without telling to their parents. I intimated the driver, bring him to from the campus in first semester, and buy a ticket of Divo and send him back to home. And I intimated the academic office, close his admission, and I will take the responsibility. This is, I'm telling you, my real nephew example, and it's on the record. Maybe most of the students do not know about this. Few knows, because when I came to know, he is sitting with specific group. Those are involved in very serious activities. So instead, I face any different type of consequences which damage my personality and my repute. I felt it better to close his admission without receiving any complaint. It's on the record.
That's some daring though. That's some in this sort of a culture
And even
environment. I can
later on, I
understand.
received the call from his father. You must discuss, you must. I said I will discuss it later on.
Yeah.
At the moment, I am sending him back, just receive him, because he do not have any phone or all the things. I don't remember. Or maybe I have given few cash. Just you should know he's coming back. And we will discuss it later on. And then again, I received huge uh, criticism, like the uncle did wrong and he destroyed the future, and he should not do like this. He should give the opportunity to listen him. He should discuss with us. But I know, because I have a very good smell,
Yeah.
like the, you can say, the real smell. He is or being engaged or on the track. So it's better when the result will come, should throw him from the university.
Understood. Well, let's sum it up. It's been a highly intellectual and so much to learn. I mean, like, I think through this talking that we had today, I think so much open to learn, for the teachers and for the students both.
Yeah,
We talked about.
before closing, I will say another thing, like after like maybe again 10-20 years, these students will feel when they will have their own kids and they have to send to some institute or university. At that time, after 20 years, because they will get married and then they will have children, and maybe it take around 20 to 30 years, but they will try to find an institute where they can have such type of environment or a person who have control for their children,
Rightly so.
right? At the moment, maybe they are feeling like very
Yeah,
tough
it
and
happens.
why we should this and all things, but ultimately the parents are very happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, again, I'm not too much strict as well. I
No, I
always
know you. I mean, like, these are few of the stories that has been new to me. I know
I
you from.
always take care of my students when I respond, when I see anything like they are not being responded, they are not being facilitated, and that is their right. So I try to help them in achieving the right thing.
Yeah.
So, but ultimately, It's our
No, I second you
responsibility.
on that because we've been into a lot of talks earlier as well, like before as well. Like we've been in connection for a long period of time. I know you. I mean, and few of the events were very new to me, and I didn't know that side of yours, to be honest. And but
That's
yeah,
the harsh thing which
yeah,
majority of
yeah,
the student, and maybe
yeah,
that's why I'm not you can say a faculty member or teacher who have good likes, good friends.
yeah, yeah.
So because
Sticking to
uh,
merits is tough.
maybe as you said, I have been given a responsibility in too early age, and they are like expecting different type of reaction or
Yeah,
action from myself. Considering my age, such type of reaction or action should be expected from a fully white hair person and fully elder person.
yeah, I
So
agree. No, I mean like sticking to merits is tough, and yeah, it depicts one way or the other. Let's close it up with one last question. The best ever advice you received in your surroundings, like from somebody close to you, like it can be a family member, a friend, or anybody that who said something and you said, yeah, this was something that really had been top of the line. Yeah,
it's quite hard.
yeah,
Uh, I think I have received multiple advices, multiple things, but uh, instead of giving the answer, I will suggest something. Hmm, I think we should have a company, or we should spend our free time with senior and elder people.
mm.
For example, if you see the kids with their grandpas in their company, they will learn a lot, they will groom very well.
Mm.
Instead of spending time with their peers.
Mm.
So luckily, I had a chance. That's why I have been given such type of, you can say, job responsibilities at this early age. I had the opportunity to spend my time with senior or elder people. For
Yeah,
example, in FAST, I joined and I used to spend most of the time with Dr. Aftab.
yeah, he's quality.
Right. So whenever I became free, I joined his company. I tried to learn
Mm.
because the elder people do not have any uh, specific interest,
Mm.
because no, they are free and they have spent their life. No, they want to pay back actually, because they do not have any competition.
Yeah,
For example, I'm sitting with Dr. Aftab Maroof. He is giving me some sort of advice. So it means that is very honest advice to me.
yeah,
But when you are sitting with your peers, they will have why he is asking thing, and if I will tell him this direction, he will
prosper and grow.
beat me, or he will cross me and all the things, and
Yeah, it
maybe I
happens.
will have some doubts in my mind,
Yeah.
right? The similarly, when I was in my previous institute, I was having the company of Vice Chancellor and Dr. Ziaul Qayyum, and then, of course, the university registrar, Dr. Tahir Akil.
Mm.
I really enjoyed their company. I sit and I ask multiple questions. Okay, what do you do when such type of problem you face? What happened if this will be achieved? If one, well, all sort of organization questions. The skill set and the knowledge they have. So by asking different questions, I get it updated.
Makes sense.
Right. So similarly, even I was telling you the example of uncle who was offering prayer, and then he asked, you should take a water as per your need.
Yeah.
Still no, whenever I have some time, I go to that uncle. I spent my time with him instead of asking any friend, are you free? Should we go to market, or we should have a cup of tea, or go to Gloria Jeans? No. I try to find the elder person. with whom I can spend some time. And similarly,
sense.
because nowadays my father is in United States, so he's living there. So, and I used to call him daily and discuss my all type of matters with my father. So daily, almost I have 5 to 10 minutes call with him. What happened, what I did, what are the issues I'm facing, what I'm trying to do, and discussing and getting some opinion and
Makes
guidance.
sense. Definitely makes sense.
So I think in term of advice, so I'm regularly taking
Yeah.
multiple advices. So that's why I cannot transfer one advice. But of course, the generic advice, try to learn and try to adopt and try to understand your value. So every person, every human has a value. अल्लाह ताला ने हर इंसान को एक यूनिक पैदा किया है और उसकी अपनी क्वालिटीज़ हैं. And I need to understand those qualities and I need to understand that value. You itself are very important. And please don't destroy yourself. Try to understand it. Try to use your skills. Try to adopt, try to learn in humble way.
Wonderful. So having a great session with you, and thank you very much for sparing your time.
It's always a pleasure.
And I think it has been a great learning curve.
So really sorry because it was long lasting, and I think you was calling me since long, and as I remember you said you want to start from my session.
Yeah.
But because of many other commitments, I was not able to make it. But today, finally,
No,
we did it.
It is totally worth it because we hardly find people who talk the basics of things, and the basics of things that the people need to know, people need to learn. And I mean, like, everybody can be a teacher. Teacher is an open profession, and anybody can be a teacher. But learning and getting out the true essence of it and become a true teacher, that can really strengthen up the path for a lot of individuals, a lot of young individuals coming into their way into their life, making their way into the life. I think that is what the role of the teacher is, and you're really fulfilling it up to a certain level. And I think that is something that really encourage. And like by the end of this session, I think there is nothing to shy about. Like, you really being the true teacher and really doing what the society and the culture and the environment really needs. And I think if we just follow that things out, if we follow the instructions, the guidelines this way out, and if we respect the teachers, like, the way that they're meant to be, I think we can just prosper a big time. And these are the few elements that we take for granted. We think like only this particular thing or a particular skill can really thrive us. But I think these are the things that we really take for granted. But these are the real thing. These are the things that really matter. I mean, I feel so these are the things that really set the tone for you, for your character, for what you're going to achieve in the life. And I think we just need to pay high focus on this rather than, paying a bit of a chunk of the focus on the rest of the elements.
Yes, of course. First of all, we need to develop, or we should have the qualities of a human being.
Yeah, that's right.
And later on, we need to have the capabilities and the qualities of dealing with this society.
Yeah.
Exactly. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sparing your time, and let's call it a day.
Thank you.